I was kind of gonna ask you about that, and you talked about it a little bit, but I was looking like, I counted 12 releases, and there might be more,
Yeah.
but that's what I counted this year. And I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to ask you, like, was that strategic or just kind of how, things fell in terms of like, okay, you would finish this song or this project, and you felt like it was ready to go. Tell us a little bit about your thought or, kind of, I guess, elaborate more about, what was your plan to release all of this music this year?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, obviously, like the Sound Origin Volume 3, that was already in place. That was planned out. I knew I was going to do that to start the year off. And the Unknown Advantage album, since that's just my work, I knew that that was, in the works. That's been over a year in the making at this point. So that was always planned. A lot of these other releases, though, that I've done that are solo works, in recent months, I've actually been studying more about the lo-fi community
Yeah.
and doing like beat releases and working with different people. So I just started diving into like different collectives, and I found there's so many collectives that you can submit music to, and they can have it on like kind of the back burner for consideration if they are a fan of what you're doing and you kind of have like a message in the music and whatever, and they feel like it's a good fit, then you can release with them. And so I've been doing that a lot this summer, which has been pretty cool. I'm actually dropping a new one. It's a 5-track EP tomorrow with a collective called Beatmology, and the EP is called Road Less Traveled. So just doing little things like that, singles, little projects here and there. And for me, it's just kind of a way to get a lot of the music that has kind of just been sitting on my hard drive out there. A lot of things that people aren't going to be using for their projects, like if MCs or singers are passing on these beats and I don't have a plan for them, I'm like, this is probably a good way to get them out there and get them in front of like another audience too, and it expands your audience and your listenership as well, because those different collectives have a lot of producers already under house too. So you're getting exposed to those people, and they have audiences as well. So it's just kind of expanding what I'm doing, and just kind of growing the reach as well, which is super cool. And so far so good. It's been pretty cool experience, and I didn't really know that that was the thing. Honestly, I knew about like the lo-fi beats and people do like YouTube mixes and things like that. But I didn't really know how expansive it was until I've started doing this. I'm like, wow, it's like a whole community.
Yeah.
And I've already met a lot of cool people just through doing that. So I think that's going to be something I'm, excited to keep building on and kind of see where it goes. But yeah, that's really been the plan, is just to kind of expand the listenership and, just keep it going. And then hopefully the people that hear that material will come to hear, my solo material and maybe some of the other stuff I'm working on too. So yeah, it's been pretty cool up to this point.
One of the things I've also noticed, from you is you've appeared on a lot of podcasts, throughout 2024 as well. And a lot of the artists that and producers that come on the Major Music Lounge podcast. In fact, it was King Shamps who said
Mhm.
ironically knew you. You referred him in my direction. Also, thank you for that. But
Yeah,
the conversation he and I had was just like podcasting is a almost like a free form of promotion. If you pick up one extra fan or, another person hears about your music, or if you have 10 to 15 people that, now know who you are on this podcast, I think that's a victory in itself. And, even like us working, together, whether directly or indirectly, I feel like we've done a great job of like kind of creating community in the
yeah.
music space. And, from your perspective, what do you think is a benefit of podcasting for artists, for producers, music creators, generally speaking?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything you just said. And I put out a couple videos recently about, my experiences in doing it as well. But yeah, I think it's just a great opportunity to expand the network. Kind of like how I just said about working with those collectives and those labels. That's a way of expanding the network. It's no different if you go on someone's platform and you tell a little bit about your story, and, someone hears that and they're like, oh, I kind of like that guy's vibe. Let me go check out, see what he does. They find out you make music, then they're going to go check out your music. And I think there's always been a power of whatever story you have to tell is really what is going to get people invested. Even if the music's good, if you don't have a face to the music or any type of personality to it, they're probably less inclined to engage with what you're doing because there's no reason for them to do it. It's just another song that sounds good. You know what I mean? So even if they enjoy the song, are they going to come back? Probably not. But if they're seeing, your personality, they know more about you and they know more about why you're doing what you do, they're going to be like, oh, I can invest in this person. I really like this person and what they're doing. So now I'm going to start checking them out and become eventually, hopefully, a fan of what you do. So that's how I've always looked at it. And other than that, just expanding the digital footprint because what we do on social media, what we do within our own like brand building process is so important nowadays. So I just look at every opportunity, and I think Shamps has said this before too. If it's a big platform or a small platform, it doesn't matter. It's still potential ears on your music. So you just got to look at every opportunity almost like the same. And as long as you're connecting with cool, like-minded people, then, it's going to work out in your favor. So yeah, I've just made it a note for myself to just do that. Shamps is really the main inspiration behind it because he hustles harder than anybody
Oh
at
yeah.
doing that. Like he has been on so many shows, I lost track. I try to check out a lot of his interviews that he does, but it seems like every week he's got a new one. So like how you said you look at me and you see things and you get motivated by that. I look at you guys and I look at, other people too, and I'm like, I get motivated by that. It's just kind of cool to kind of feed off of one another's energy and just keep that going and keep the positivity going too. So shout out to Shamps because I know we both are, super close with him and what he does.